thanks everyone for your patience because we knew the traffic was going to be quite tough, so we kind of put the starting time a little earlier. And after this, there's also barbecue downstairs in case you're going to get hungry. Feel free to join also the attendees from the other event, Web3 Privacy over there, and then mingle a bit more. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit of the logistics. If you need restroom, it's behind the fridge over there, if you don't know yet. And then today we're going to take this opportunity. First of all, thank you very much for coming. And then thanks a lot to CypherHouse for supporting us for this event and also preparing the barbecue, directing everyone to the right venue. And I'm very happy to see a lot of you guys because we were kind of friends online and then working together for a very long time. And finally, we got to see each other. And some friends from many events ago that I didn't get to catch up. So our close collaborators know about why we get involved with doing this Zuzalu.city thing and what it is, what's our vision, why do we see this as an opportunity for really promoting very interesting and useful tools and decentralized applications in Ethereum ecosystem to the, let's say, the end goal of mass adoption a little bit closer with this little movement. Obviously, with so many builders here, we already see this coming into such a unity of seeing this as very aligned goals, where when we stick together and provide these tools to communities, we could reach to more people. But there is a bit more reasoning that we would like to provide, and then some stories behind why my organization, Ethereum Community Fund, get involved with this movement, why we are coordinating this, and a little bit about the future plan. I promise I will try to make it short so that we have more time for all the builders to present their projects, especially the ones that are already in demo in integrations, and then a bit more time for tools from the community that are in the process of discussing integrations, and some new friends who joined this town hall for sharing what they're doing and get to know everyone else and introducing themselves. And at the end of the event, whoever is interested, you could join this very interesting Xiaoxiong tournament, which is the drinking game that will lead to this prize that I'm showing and demonstrating here. By the way, they did not sponsor us. We just really liked it. And then there's barbecue downstairs. Hopefully that's a full and ritual night for everyone who does make time to come here. Have we got the tech problem solved?
I think so.
Everyone, can you guys see from the call?
Yes, we can see it.
I heard it yes, so yes is also a yes.
Yes, there's them both.
Cool. So we'll start. Thanks again for the waiting. And maybe I could just press myself. For those who don't know me, I'm QJ. I am Executive Director of Ethereum Community Fund. Raise hand if you heard of it. Thanks very much. Actually, I met a oldest colleague here who's working at Scroll. Hi, Christopher, from 2018. So I'm going to share a little bit of the background of Ethereum Community Fund just so that the story is complete. Many of you knew me from Zuzalu, either when we went there or because we go to support certain events with Zu.Coffee software. This I already went through. So this first session will be about our vision and some sharing about the challenges of all this coordination with the tools, with applications in the space. And I don't think we will, I think the demo section will be also mingled with the demos with the other projects that put their slides here with demos. So a little bit about ECF, the one here. Where it should scale and really applications to reach people, and there were many more people that were interested, but they have the, let's say, the funding for the extra mile to jump into space to get some research done, quit their daytime job, and then projects that are in the early Ethereum ecosystem got together and then put funding together. And the mission was to, let's just make this jumpstart. If I'm not mistaken, this is probably the earliest grant program in the space that is dedicated to the scale and adoption of the Ethereum. And at that time, if you see the leaderboard, there's quite some projects that are still very around and making huge contributions in the space. We also gave funding to quite some projects that are also very important infrastructure of today's Ethereum ecosystem, including Gitcoin, Uniswap. Many of us, we already are quite familiar with that. So as a grant program, we were usually what we know we need to figure out is where's the money, which was solved very well by the projects in the space that are willing to give the funding into the grant program. And then we need to know where are the projects? Are they good? Is the information they gave us good? Can we trust the information? Can we trust the team to deliver? And how do we hold them accountable? Many of those were not really resolved very well. And underneath, so under the table, we also, behind the scene, not really under the table, we also need to take care of the management of the money. How do we reach out to more people and stand out as a grant program? How do we know what we know is right, and then how to coordinate and how to justify our decisions? And most important of all, how do the, let's say, communities hold ourselves accountable? And to solve these questions, we had the grant program, and many more funding mechanisms started to rise as well. And after 2018, we had a lot more thoughts on the questions I just made. And I realized we are all building the house, meaning the how to do these things, the solutions. But we have not resolved the issues of what is good, what is desirable, and even more to the core, what is true. What is information that we as decentralized the communities could believe in, because most of the databases are centralized. So that's one line of the story. With ECF, we were doing those resources, and I actually also have another slide on ECF just so that everyone has a little bit idea. We have a white paper that focuses on collective truth, so that when it's applied to crypto projects, let's say, it's about directing communities to find accountable projects. We may not be able to say what is good. That's decided by people who are in their community or want to join their community, but at least we should know whether they can be accountable. And that comes with a white paper that was published recently, but not promoted so much because we want to also build the tool that actually communities can use. And so that's one line. Another line with my team that is based in Asia, we started to manage this network called Neutrino Co-working Space Network. And that was also among the very early physical hubs. And at that time, we were already thinking or experiencing when people meet together, the kind of level of trust and collaboration just is different when it's online. It's so difficult without social technologies to build trust, to work together. And we started to apart from our own hubs, we also partner with 4Node, Nuns, many of those that have the still around. And to bring, we have this is Shanghai opening and Beijing, and then all these partner in our own hubs. And this was when I think we had it at Zuzalu, which was an experience that many of us had and then still benefit a lot from. And this is the reason why many of us are involved in the Zuzalu movement still. And at that time, when we demonstrated it, the team that was maintaining the Zuzalu.city website, PSE team saw it and was like, that's great. And then you guys should take the lead and then get these things built. The idea is that when you see a great community such as Zuzalu, you see what tech stack they use, and then you can just easily fork with the modules, the apps that they use, and then create your own community. And on top of it, if the data are actually owned by the members in the community, you could fork the entire community. You're not agreeing with how the community's direction is going, then you're like, you know what, I'm also part of us. So I want us to go another direction. Of course, the other members have their own choice of opting out. This is just like blockchain. But this is a non-violent way of exiting and then proving yourselves and then, you know, gaining more support from people who actually would come back to the community. It could also be that you own both coins, right? In a metaphor of all the hard forks. You probably can be in both communities, experiencing parallel world. And then that started to be executed ever since the Zuzalu Montenegro event, are co-owned by the community. And that's another 2-hour presentation that we're not going to go into, and a different topic on collective intelligence. But today we're going to focus more on the Zuzalu. Let's say, and then explain a little bit more about why we think this would work and this is sustainable. The question, very simple, is why we need that kind of support that is in person in most of the times, if it's not just, you know, trading in exchange, which is not necessarily using crypto per se. And so it's about word of mouth, sometimes, you know, in-person word of mouth, a physical transaction. And then there's also a lot to do with the community you're in. If the community actually adopts the technology, it's very easy for the community members to also experience it together, because this is what everybody else uses. This is why I started to use Telegram, because if I need to find lots of people in crypto space, they are there. And it could also be because cool kids have that. You know, like, I want to be one of the cool kids. And this all happened in Zuzalu, right? Like, many people come from very different backgrounds, longevity, rationalists, bioscience, and then they come in knowing a little bit about crypto, but it's so different when we're having breakfast together and walking together on the beach, and then they just ask what tools you're using. And I actually got a lot of suggestions for personal knowledge management, because Oliver was there. I don't think he's here. But this cross-pollination, which is a word in Zuzalu communities used a lot, is such an efficient way for us to prove and validate the tools that we're building. And another thing that is super important, why communities, when they form community, need to come together, use decentralized solutions, is that when you form the community, when it's decentralized, it's so much easier to gain trust. It's so much easier when it's open access, so much easier when you know you own your data, and no communities can just remove you from history, and you can carry your contribution away or do your own thing following that. And for risk management, many people are thinking about innovating their societal structures, and these can be with consequences, without going too much into details of that. When the communities can co-own it, it's a different level of management of the risks. In addition to our love and worship for decentralization, there's a practical need for that. And so this is kind of boils down to, this is why we think this time Zuzalu.city might work with the way we are trying to operate. When we put all the amazing tools together and direct them to an environment where communities can completely control what kind of tools they want to use collaboratively, and then own the data and make their own rules about, for example, in social, what kind of things are appropriate, what kind of things constitute hate speech or inappropriate speech, then they can really form the trust and then ownership and then continue to use it. Many times we go to an event, we have to join a group, a Telegram group. It's just one more Telegram group that will go dormant. But the continuity of narrative helps people get why they need to join a new community that is already, to them, a new community, but a community that is worth joining, because you can see conversations happen in certain presentations. And then people thought, this is a good way to, build something to solve the problem. They get a grant, they did a presentation on then you have a YouTube link or Stream ETH link in our community tools. And then people are like asking questions, having debates. When all of these together, it's much easier in the end. When you make your voting, you are well informed. And then when you vote with someone else, you're not just relying on someone's interpretation, because you can dig deep enough to see the source of how everything, this kind of my bias, I would like to see that. And all the data of the, the reputation, the badges would not make sense if in the end, the reputation does not boil down to governance decisions. And a lot of it need to work together. And it cannot be that, when we are chatting, we're using this thing. When we are voting, we're using that thing. And when we are scheduling, doing an event, we're using another thing. It's basically going back to buying a device, buying a phone for every app that we are trying to use in one phone. And this is a world that is difficult to imagine. So when we are coming together as a community, there is a need for a collaborative environment, and it cannot be very distributed, because every click you lose someone, right? And then it's not going to be so easy. Coordination itself is already hard. We experienced it in ECF with coordination of funds. We're now experiencing it again with the coordination of building together. So if the community can stick together with the tools that are aligned, with the values, either you like privacy as a very strong feature, or you like your personal data to be very much owned by the users. If these are aligned, when you go into a community, you know what you sign up for, and then you know your exit. And then when you stay, it's really that you're staying. So is this a sustainable model for continuously funding Zuzalu.city operation and the apps and public goods? I think so, because essentially what we are putting together is a dApp store. And the reason why you can distribute apps much better and much more efficiently is because the operating system itself works. People don't need to go somewhere else to do many other things. This way, projects can focus on building the tools that communities need, and do not have to distract themselves, at least at the very early stage, about the distribution, because the entire movement of the pop-up villages and pop-up events and Zuzalus, the Zuzalu villages, will help you get the users that are going to be interested in continuously using. We see many people from Zuzalu, Montenegro from last year, starting to do their own events. And we see many more people experiencing this year's events, going back home to do their own events. And this is a massive force that will push all the great tools out. And I think this will be a super efficient way. And for funding, I'm not going too much into it. Just check how much App Store makes every year. And that doesn't mean we're saying it's going to be, with conditional access for the tools. It only means that there are ways that we could profit from recommending great tools. It should be open access, and it should be that communities choose their own tools. I forgot to mention one other point. This really unite the communities in this way, where if you're really decentralized and interoperable, then you don't have to become a part of any platform. You don't have to join a bigger corporation. You build your own tools, and Zuzalu.city is just one of the interfaces that link some communities that are attracted by Zuzalu to your tools. And there are many other great tools that are also sitting here, Lemonade, Social Layer, that also interface different communities, or maybe similar communities, but have slightly different user experience styles that people want. But it does not stop any user from using it and having to pick a platform. There is no territory in this sense when we are connected to the same toolkit. And this is what we envision Zuzalu.city to be. It will be an operating system. It will help more likely to found this kind of trust and collaboration, to be where everybody would feel comfortable joining and knowing that they are not going to compromise anything. They're not going to be the users that any platform exploit, because there will be privacy, there will be ownership, there will be control directly from the community. And we don't want to know what you do in your community if you want to keep it private. And then if you want to know more about it, we have the documentation that is actually we just started a few weeks ago, because we're focusing on one of the apps that we're going to demonstrate as well. And just to go back a little bit to the ECF story, I think this is a much more efficient way of helping adoption by actually providing support to the not only funding, but also adoption. And this is a way to get adoption more out there with all the builders and all the community members that are going out there doing different things, and let's say converting more people into our world. These are some of the principles that obviously many of us agree with, because you're building tools that are based on these principles. And I think that the only thing that is slightly more our focus would be the ease of use and interoperability. And it sounds ironic, because we did have a lot of people criticizing it's not easy to use, right? Just let me use Luma, or can I just put a Notion up? And we completely understand it, because it is much easier if it's in your control and you put all data there and then just demonstrate to everyone. When it's a collaborative environment, I think there's much more nudge for everyone to get into one place where they can feel safe and then feel comfortable you're using. I'm not someone who do a lot of tweets on socials. I don't feel like I'm talking to my community when it becomes such an advertisement and promotion platform. I think I will say and talk much more if I know I'm talking to my community. And this is also one of the reasons that I'm very interested in pushing this tool out to benefit myself. This is the documentation. I don't know, Veronica, we have the documentation open up, because we have mapped out quite a few of the tools that we need. I just want to take one more minute to kind of go through all of this, so that if you're building something like this, or event modules, because in real life is something that is featured in Zuzalu and makes all the magic happen. Also co-living for a bit longer time. We all just came out of Devcon. I'm sure many of us are very tired, and then conferencing is very efficient and very fast at knowing a lot of people. At the same time, with meaningful bonding, you probably want to take a bit more time. I don't think you can trust someone until you really share breakfast at least once. And then these are things that we have to cover, and then we also have great apps in the space that are already doing it. And then we have the identity modules with a strong focus on zero knowledge identities. So this is why ZooPass was, let's say, one of the projects that is the most promoted so far from Montenegro, because without a community that is so experimental, it would be difficult to push forward something that does not have the obvious benefits. And we need more and more of these tools that are also in that ground. And I think we have also another decentralized passport that is around to also demonstrate as well. With reputation attestation, it's completely opposite of my habit. Interesting. And then with communication modules, we're looking at integrating completely private, decentralized technology, Ethereum-based chats, streaming, forum, wiki, announcement, notification, socials. With governance modules, there's many more that we have not put there. We have also strong focus on helping communities fundraise and then get their economy out. So we're also looking at different ways of helping the organizers. For example, advertisement is one thing that could be quite interesting, because with Hamburger Text, it's very likely you could, during an event, get quite some sponsorship bidding for the space when people are, I have no idea how to do this left hand, Okay. Let's go down a little bit more. So we have, with each of these pages, we have requirements of what we believe is needed, but of course it's open to discussion. And then projects building with these requirements or coming in with their already built solutions that could integrate already. And there also are designers that help with, getting the ideal flow out, that are collaborating in our builder space. And this as one of the examples of the various tools that can be out there that help any of these. If you have done one event, such as any event, can you raise hand? That it's tough work. It's a lot of, it's much worse than a wedding. And you have many more kids to take care of. Everybody comes to you for a problem. And if there's anything that could help them fundraise much easier and then manage logistics much easier, it helps an event to be much more successful, and then a lot of other things could happen. So if you're interested, you could go into documentation to see whether any of these mapped out tools are what you're building or which someone is building. At the same time, if you think there are other tools your communities need or you're building that should be a good fit, please also let us know. And there will be QR codes to scan later. Brian, can we go back to the slide? Thanks.
We are taking time down with my
Okay.
battery. We're okay.
This is probably, can we make this? Right. Super sketchy sketch, but but the idea is that under the CommunityOS here, you have all these modules, you have all these apps that communities can choose to use to install into their CommunityOS. And then even between the apps, of course, we can never stop. It's about interoperability. So in any case, all of these apps that are independent could interoperate. And then there's an extra effort that needs to go into building if you want Zu.City to also have them, for example, in hamburger text ad to also be, for example, in your shop or in your event or in another event function, or a text to be during the event or inside the entire community space so that people have open channels. So there's more things to be built there, but we aim next year to have all the apps available, at least one or two of them in every track. And then the next year so the second year to be completely permissionless for apps to be listing themselves so that communities can use them in the way they want. Sorry for my voice. It's really many days after all the talking. I promise you, I usually sing like an angel, but not anymore. And then our job here, apart from the OS needing to be smooth, we also need all the discoveries so that we can help communities to be discovered. And any function that exists there would also require discovery that needs to be built, also by other builders that are interested in these functions. So if you, so we have event. You also need to be discovering the event. If you have identity, if people want to be seen, to be found, it's kind of like a LinkedIn. There should also be ways to find you. And then if you are a service provider, there should also be ways for you to list out your services. It could become a massive thing. We just really want to know whether coordination among existing tools and people who are interested in building certain tools could really work, versus to make it a more united force and see whether coordination really would work, or at the same time to see whether this environment that we coin as CommunityOS would actually take off. And we have so far a lot of validations through communities we work with, even without all the tools that we are now showing this beautiful picture of. And then in addition to that, if we have lotteries, for example, we'd like it to be discovered as well. So you can consider this as global discoveries when the information or all the data points that are created by the communities are chosen to also be public. In the example of advertisement, if many events are happening, there should be also a board to look at whether how much are these advertisement boards being sold, and other elements that contribute to why advertisers would buy your ad. And that would become a marketplace for paying for ads, for example. And lotteries are the same. You could join another event that has a lottery without really attending. and they're probably just fundraising for, saving their cat, as we did in Georgia, with Zuzalu, Georgia. And then maybe you just want to contribute, you don't care about the result if, in this case, lotteries is used for public goods for the community. And so in terms of structure, you have in your own community OS, environment, all these apps to choose from. And then globally, Zuzalu.city and many other interfaces should be able to allow all these data to be explored if they are public. And then there is this issue with the user profile that we have to experiment a bit more with, starting with ceramic. I think we also have Joe here that will introduce a little bit more about ceramic. And if you're curious about decentralized data storage, he's also here to be as a contact point if you're looking at different solutions. And these are all the modules. And
For now.
that's it for us for now.
For now.
Good, thanks. And I think CypherHouse, we need to thank again the organizer from CypherHouse and do a little bit of a welcome to the Zuzalu Zuzalu Technology Townhall.
Thank you.
Yeah, this one's for the communities.
Okay. So, okay. Welcome everybody. Come to CypherHouse. Thank you for coming. And this time, Bangkok. Let's thanks for this as a title sponsor and the Gate and the Network Academy and Zuzalu.city help the residency ticket sale. Thank us a lot. And what is CypherHouse? It is a isolation space for co-living when the Ethereum big conference happen, like Devcon, Connect, and a lot of other big conference happening. We will have a co-living space beside the main people, the builders to just more comfortable during the conference period, because I found that so many when we attended the conference or too tired, too many things. So we think maybe we need a chill place. Don't need too many events, and when you leave the main venue, you back to the CypherHouse, you can feel like back to home. This kind of feeling, this kind of vibe. Yeah. So this is a co-living project. And why? Yeah, I already said. And when I proposed this idea to Forces community, Link asked me, you call your project called CypherHouse. So what is Cypher? So which part is Cypher in CypherHouse? Okay, I think it's quite simple. First thing is the idea, the thoughts, the philosophy. For example, now, at the same time, in different living room, we have a different chill chatting, three privacy, PG, and discussing about how to set up. This kind of idea we should improve during all the builders. And the second part is the tools, like Zuzalu.city. You know, the software, the application is based on the Web3 Cypher idea to create this kind of software. So we will use more and more this kind of application to support the CypherHouse project. And in the future, we will use more and more Cypher type application to support all the things happen. Yes, this is the Cypher Pi part, I think. Sorry, my English is too bad.
No
So.
worries. Okay, we got it.
And a little bit our future. We already include this time, we test 5 times from last year, Tokyo to Montenegro to Istanbul. We all test small size, like 20 people, we stay together. And this year in Tokyo, Devcon, we really started CypherHouse project. That time we have 30 residents from 600 countries. And this time, more than 20 countries builders apply to to stay in CypherHouse. But this time also, it's also a beta version, so we just have less than 40 residents. So finally, like 10 from 10 countries, the builders stay here. So yeah, this is in our future, we will make it more and more international. This one part, and the size, we will increase our size too. And with like Zu.Coffee, and later we'll present too. We will cooperate together to test this kind of model to can let more and more people, like 100 people, to stay together, have good vibe, have good experience during the conference. Yeah, so this is CypherHouse. It's quite simple. Just we want to make our life, our Cypher life, more comfortable. Even now, we are work very hard for building our digital future. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
On battery. Let's see. 37. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I have a charger. I'll just have to sort it out with the microphone. So just like delaying the problem. Do we end up having Jason or Clark?
Jason, I think, is here.
Yeah, great. Yes.
So this is our first demo, and when we participate, integrate.
Do you need to plug?
First one.
Will you plug in your computer? Do you want to plug it in, or we have these slides?
I think I can use it.
Okay. This is not our chance to charge. Of course.
Here. So, okay. I'm glad to see so many builders coming from all around the world. I think it's a little nervous because we all joined the ETH Global for Hackathon. Also, we joined the Devcon. Also, we joined the Zuzalu software Townhall. So, let me show you something. A small group coming from China and from Chiang Mai to create something interesting. So the name is Zu.
right here. Yeah, I'll keep. I think it's because this one.
Oh, sure.
Can just be on the other one. Let's see. Hello. But if we make it, it's. But if we do this one, we can put it. So maybe we do that.
This one. So video is works.
Yeah, the video is up there.
Okay.
But as long as they can hear. You can hear us? Hello, hello?
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Can you do an emoji? You're all muted. Or now you're unmuted. Or say it. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. Here you go. Sorry.
Okay. Let's go on. So some background about that, and that's a quick overview for that. And we all know we just joined the hackathon, global online hackathon to take a hack and build this one. It's just a mobile application for Android only, but we can deploy it to the iOS later if we need. And we finish a basic demo in mobile to buy a coffee, open a shop, and pay the token. Also, we build like a definition for the Zuzalu.city for shop module. Yeah. And we can learn more about that. You know, the hackathon event. Yeah, it's a showcase for global online hackathon. And build it about July or August. Yeah. It's a finished version. After that, we began to build the module for Zuzalu.city, a shop module. So,
Sorry.
yeah.
The screen share stopped. I'll just do it
Why?
again. I think because it's, let's just,
Oh, yeah,
I'll just do the
yes.
window. Oh, no, that's why.
Okay, share
Because
all
I
the
did it
window.
that. Because I just did it by tab.
Okay. So coming to the main topic, I think a little innovation for that. If we create a new technology, what should we do? Maybe a new economic model. It's a big topic, but I think we need some real economics, not only token trading. So, short module for Zuzalu.city or any community, you can sell and buy something. Yeah, maybe you will talk about regulation, censorship, or something else. Yeah, it's a problem, but it cannot prevent us to evolution. Yeah. So we create 3 basic steps for all the community, like community banding, and build a shop, and then sell and buy. Let me show you the later. Yeah, it's a basic background architecture for that. The first one is like air account. It's an account using ERC-437. So you can trading gas lease, and with the email to building a basic account. It's like a account contract account. Also, we use some like modules and some new ability to combine into the Cos72. It's a long term. It's not finished, but the basic one like ETH Paymaster, gas lease trading transaction, and the email account, binding with your fingerprint. You know, there will be a big news like DXX, like a China centralized exchange center, lost all the user private key. But this account, if you lose your private key, you can lose nothing because it will be a second signature for fingerprint. It's like another algorithm for your private key. So it's a basic ability for us. Also, we will have some ability for common ENS or something else. And here, the shops module can bang into the Cos72. So it's a basic architecture for that. Okay. It's ugly. Sorry for that. I just described the main flow for that. If you want to create something like a shop, you must create a community. And some community can create many shops, even 2, 10, unlimited. Yeah. And after you create a shop, you can create something like your items, And the items may including like a meme picture and some describing pictures. Also, if you're finished, you can click on buy. Also, we have some like how to say that item collection, all the shop collection. You can visit in one-click overview for all the Zuzalu community open their shop in one page. And this is the basic show. Let me show its demo version in Cipolia. I can show you. Yeah. How to let me see. Thursday 22. God, Netflix. Oh.
The Y and the Z are backwards.
Oh, different. Yeah.
Just one more minute.
Oh, okay. I quickly show. Yeah, and okay, sorry for that. But we can test later. We will do some like integration test. Where they? Over here.
Where the Y is standing. German people are saying.
Zuzalu. Yeah. This is a simple example to integrate with Zuzalu.city. And if someone can move to,
Press, to the X.
yeah. If someone like me, I just show you quickly. If using an email, I must use mine because my fingerprint is in my mobile.
Your computer.
Yeah. Or I can join online and share my screen. Or let me
Maybe
share.
if we have time after the presentations, we're doing.
Oh,
We have a lot of different projects.
Sorry for
This is
that.
really close.
Yeah. I just described the flow. Every single community can include cosine.js, and then you get the small icon. I click then you use the email to log in, and the first time you must register your fingerprint, and it's like another private key, and the private key is keeping in the server. The server is keeping by your community, and another private key is your finger. So if you log in, and then you can check all the shops and the wallet and balance and something else. It's integrated with any shops, any community. And also it's all good and the stores. Yeah, it's a test version and all the community. And also we support many price mark like points, community points, and the USDT and ETH and any self-defense contract token. We can all support it. Okay, that's all. I'll share the link. You can try, give me some feedback for me. Okay, second.
Thank you so much. And yes, I know we started a bit late and running out of time. We don't have as many demos today. So for people that just have a presentation, try to shoot for 1 minute and then with some buffer room beyond that. And then at the end, if people are still around and want to see more demos, then we'll have time for that. All right, let's see. Next is Zooland by Akasha. I'm looking at people wearing Akasha logo shirts. Yeah. You've identified yourself. Is this working still? Yes, great. Okay, thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Hello, everyone. We don't have a presentation like a slide, but hi. At Akasha, we are so some of this. Sorry. Sorry.
That's a memory right there.
Yeah.
I can never do that.
Share this tab.
Yeah.
Once you
Yeah, it's like staging. Okay. Sorry. Didn't look.
because I clicked share.
What should I do?
I already clicked share on it.
Okay. Should I reload or
Maybe
something?
reload it.
Okay,
I just
nice.
switched tabs.
It's not working.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. So basically, what you're seeing is like a playground. It's still on testnet. What we're using to test the features we're implementing on Akacha Core. Basically, what we have here is like a commentary, but any other projects, you just need to use the Akacha Core and the tools there. We are building on top of we're using Compose DB by Ceramic, and the media files are on Web3 storage. So when you take the project is open source on GitHub, you have access to all those tools, Web3 storage and Compose DB, and yeah. So this is basically just a playground for us, but we are focusing now on improving the core and making it accessible to everyone else who wants to innovate it. Thank you.
I'm just going to read through the slides so that we can move on to the next one. This is what ECF is trying to build. We put together a research paper on decentralized knowledge base, and then we're building four so that trustability of information and evolution of understanding. And they're apart from that, ECF's own role of directing communities to look at great projects, the evaluation of legitimacy, and learnings from history, especially from failed projects. Let's move on to the next one. If you're interested, you can scan the white paper. Or take a picture. I think the slides are shared, so you'll be able to. Please jump.
Hi, I'm Jiang. I'm co-founder of Social Layer. We are building a community coordination app for pop-up cities. And in October, there was a very big pop-up city gathering in Chiang Mai before Devcon, and we call it Chiang Mai pop-up season. And during the Chiang Mai pop-up season, I just pulled the data from Social Layer. So there was about 10 pop-up cities and 1,616 street events in total, and about and 1,422 unique participants with about 30,000 RSVPs. And most of the events are created not only by the pop-up city organizers, but also from the individuals who are engaged in the community. I think this is a very big experiment, so that we can see so many different kind of communities, different formats of the pop-up cities, all happening in a single in Chiang Mai. So this is really amazing. So we see different. We are supporting different kind of pop-up cities and different social experiments, and they are all involved in different kind of protocols and different kind of cultures, different from different countries. So for Social Layer, we are integrating with Zupass, ZK email, and a lot of different protocols. And also Dynamo for payment and the radical exchange currency for community currency. So in the future, we want to integrate more protocols and apps into the into social layer and into the communities, so that the community members and the pop-up city citizens can use this technology, can use these protocols to have a cyberpunk experience. In this way, we will have the DID and social graph and zero knowledge proof and public good funding, like local PGF, and also the governance methods integrity. We will see how this will build up the new level effect of these technologies and new protocols. Next. And also we are working with QJ and PC and these great teams to build the interoperable standard for the pop-up city events, because there are so many event platforms and people use different kind of apps for their preference. So how can we build the real modular interoperable layer for this ecosystem? Because since people are using different apps with different formats and maybe build on different blockchains, different decentralized storages. So we are collaborating, designing a multi-layer architecture. So instead of data storage in a single protocol or single database, we will be separating into different layers. At the bottom, there is the data storage layer. It could be ceramic, it could be IPFS, it could be the on-chain data. And there would be, in the middle, there is a very important part is the indexer and aggregation layer, which would aggregate data from the different storages, but build up the materialized view of the events, of the identity of the social graph. And eventually, the apps like social layer and also Zuzalu.city and Lemonade can access data and decode the private data with the permission so to present different views to all the people to share the data and have a unified experience. I think this is just the beginning, but we are on the way to build interoperable, decentralized social, and we will eventually have a walled garden for our community. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, John.
Hi everyone, I'm one of the co-founders for Lemonade. It's a community-owned platform for on-chain human coordination. So currently we've built out the events product. Now we're doing real estate management for co-working, co-living, and then reward and data ownership. So essentially anyone can create a Lemonade stand. It comes equipped with censor-resistant information and permissionless commerce tools. The idea is to be able to create, collaborate at scale. So events, essentially anything from a house party to a pop-up village to a permanent village should be able to be managed with an integrated stack, with ticketing on-chain and off-chain, bottom-up programming with sessions and some form of security so event organizers can decide who can create sessions and who can attend sessions. Side events, also a native iOS and Android app because it's not a very good experience when you're at events and you have to load mobile web apps. And then communities can create their own reward systems for any kind of growth, engagement, and monetization verticals that they want to execute within their community. And you can also create collectibles on mainnet and any EVM, any L2. You can also white label your Lemonade stand and host it on your own domain with your own branding. And we've recently created an API and SDK stack so you can make everything interoperable from events, community, tickets, programming, rewards, So Sending Me, EatSign have already integrated, and Zupass is already integrated. So this would be road tested at Zoo Thailand, starting next week from Monday. And Zuzalu.city and Lotto PGF is what we're integrating next. So if you want to run lotteries for your event, or if any event organizer wants to create lotteries for ticket holders, or if you want to back up your data to the Ceramic network, you can opt to connect it to Zu.City and secure your data. In terms of integrations, I'm looking at more existing Web2 platform integrations, because the goal is to not just dream about bringing the next billion on-chain, but actually do it. And the way to do that is integrate existing platforms where users and customers already are. So whether it's and make B2B SaaS interoperable. So essentially someone who's using Shopify should be able to collaborate with someone who's using WooCommerce without needing to change service providers. So that's essentially the idea. Meet the customers where they are, and with a simple auth to one click, help bring customers on chain. In terms of results so far, we have 1,500 Lemonade stands, increased up to a retention of about 60%, which means that someone who uses the platform to host an event is 60% likely to continue hosting events on the platform as per the last 18 months worth of data. We have about $2.5 million worth of ticketing that has already happened on the platform, of which about 55% is actually on-chain ticketing on Ethereum, Optimism, and Base, but you can do ticketing on any EVM. We don't support Solana. Then in terms of the tech stack, this is a vertically integrated protocol platform, plugins, products, tech stack. So the way I look at it in terms of system architecture is any chain is essentially a microservice, depending upon what they're offering. And think of this as a Web3 WordPress. So you can essentially build on any layer of the stack and plug in and offer it as within the marketplace. And the on-chain social graph that we're building is going to be on Mega ETH when they launch their mainnet. So regardless of where your ticketing has happened or where you're building your community, via Axelar interchain, permissionlessly, your entire social graph will be committed on Mega ETH, which will allow anyone to plug in. So if you want to plug in the on-chain way, you will plug in through indexers. If you want to plug in the off-chain way, you will use the API stack to plug in. So lastly, so we call this United Stands of Lemonade, similar to United States of America, where every lemonade stand essentially is a jurisdiction, and every lemonade stand owner is part of the Senate, and their community is part of the House of Representatives, or House of Lords, House of Commons from the UK British system. And it's a bottom-up governance structure that actually protects minority rights. It means like you will tend to have more cruise villages or tribes than you would tend to have states. And you need to have consensus in order to deploy capital from the treasury. So as your lemonade stand grows in the amount of citizens it has or community members it has and the amount of commerce it's generating, that's the amount of governance rights it will have to issue capital out of the treasury from the platform or the nation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello guys, I'm Moreno from Zu.City and ECF. Due to the time limitation today, I won't be able to give a huge demonstration of Zu.City, but I'm going to give some updates since the last Townhall of Zu.City. First, I want to thanks for Social Layer and Lemonade, and we are working on the process of letting data to be interoperable so that users don't need to choose platforms. That's what we are working on right now. And some updates from the native Zu.City platform. The first thing might be the decentralized private scheduling app, which you guys can consider it as a native app inside Zu.City. Since we are here in CypherHouse, I also want to thank CypherHouse for supporting our beta and a lot of valuable feedbacks from them. So this decentralized private scheduling app allows users to create permissionless sessions, which means that owning them, like the creator can edit their session, which is built on Ceramic. And the thing we're doing right now is like we encrypt all this session and make it publicly, also like privately on Ceramic. Means that, you know, if a user like decrypt, like user can if you are like a member of the event, then inside Zu.City it can be decrypted automatically. And also, if like you don't want to use Zu.City, this session data can also be like grabbed from Ceramic network and decrypted by yourself if you are like a truly member of this event. So we think this is pretty cool and it's pretty cyberpunk. We are happy about it. This is just some simple pictures of how is it working. Yeah. So the next thing I'm going to update is the community calendar, which we found it super useful for, you know, pop-up events. After, you know, our alpha test with Zoo Village and Zoo Internet, we found that like this community calendar can be very useful even like after the event, where people want to do some gathering, some town halls, you know, some discussion, and we don't need to like ask each other in Telegram group. We can just have this calendar thing where like all the community members can go inside this calendar and to see all these informations. Okay. Oh, this is a short video of the. That's okay. I can play it. Yeah, you can also go to Zu.City to see all the ongoing and upcoming events, and also the old legacy events that are registered into in the old website. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay. Hello. Hello. I'm George. Yeah. I'm Zu. Well, show a little bit of Trustful for those who haven't been in one of the events at Zu. Yeah, Trustful is a reputation aggregator system, meaning that on that schema that we saw, we presented a social layer where we have data and aggregation. We're looking to make different reputation systems compatible and comparable, because if you have different data types, different things you care about that are very good for your community to use, that doesn't mean that that's the same values of other communities, and that means that your reputation gets stuck in the little silo where you created. So that reputation is only work for your community. And spent my last 2 years building on DAO, and now I'm building on ENS, and all the things I've done, I'm getting in as if I've just coming in. And I know nothing, did nothing. That's not great for interoperability in the builder human level. We want to be able to flow between communities, between spaces, and that's what we're trying to create with Trustful, a way that any of the different reputation systems that we're seeing happen everywhere can use a single system to exchange their information with each other, or to turn that information into votable, actionable, matching, score, funding, whatever on-chain use we have for all of those to work together. We did our MVPs on the second half of this year. We did 3 different MVPs of Stellar ecosystem with Karma Gap and Arbitrum, and 1 presential, real life, face-to-face in the village, Georgia, which allowed us to learn a lot of what we can do. We had about 100 different attestations, peer-to-peer on Zoo Georgia, that showed us a little bit of what the direct interaction of humans doing that as they go to their day's work. And we found out a lot of different complexities on building this, which allowed us to take from 3 MVPs into a single version 1 that we're evolving towards now and should be coming early next year, with a few different focuses. So we want to empower all those different reputation systems that we see to let their communities create each other's statements. Say, you did this, you did that, this was valuable, and use those from many different spaces to allow for resource allocation, for role selection, delegate selection, or delegate compensation for whoever's been following up with DAOs and the craze that how delegates should work has been discussing, and voting power. So as we govern, we not only govern with plutocracy, we not only govern with one human, one vote, or whatever civil path that you might find, you actually get how much you did here, how much you're contributing, how much you're helping, to either know who can choose where the funds of our common pool go, or if a proposal gets through or not. This is a print taken today, so we've just merged to main with Zu.Coffee. I don't know who I've been writing this now, so like to be the technical note, the fast review there. I don't know if it's you like that, so what where the idea is to allow for that integration for you to use directly on the Zuzalu.city website. And that should just power up from now with the V1 coming soon, where not only our own issued badges will be possible, but all badges from anything using EAS or that we adapt to import into EAS will be able to be intercomparable and actionable from there. Thank you.
Round of vote still in progress. You want to hear? Wait, okay. Let me 30 seconds.
Does anyone here know common vote? Okay, so we were at Devcon 2 or around that time trying to protect Ethereum, and this was a tool that was used at the time to collect votes with when people came the address of vote, hard fork or not hard fork, and they indicate their votes with their ETH holdings. And this year we are upgrading it to include more identities in the ZK, where of course like, we don't know who you are, but to show more of the properties of the address in order to understand which group you belong to. And this is still in progress. And I think the recent progress would be
integrated with podcast and also into the city for communities and events to use.
Okay, cool. That's it. Okay. Joe, sorry.
All right, thank you. I didn't really know how to put on slides, but it felt sort of appropriate to give a little bit of context of why we built Ceramic. So I'm a co-founder, I'm Joel, of Ceramic. And I started building in the Ethereum space, like the first time I wrote Solidity Kudos in 2015. And I think like, even in those early times, it was pretty obvious that like the blockchain wasn't gonna scale to the extent where you can just like store all user activity on the blockchain. And so a few years later, me and my coworkers started building what is the first prototype that eventually became Ceramic. And with the aim of just like, how can we capture some of the essence of the Ethereum blockchain, like cryptography and some sort of time. You have like Ethereum, you can think of basically like a clock that progresses over time. Now, how can we capture this in a system that allows us to use like store way more data and distribute that data without being sort of restricted by the fact that Ethereum needs to come to consensus and protect against double spends, because we don't actually have double spend problem if you're just like storing data. And so out of those few prototypes eventually came Ceramic. So today Ceramic is a database management system. You can think of it as a peer-to-peer way of synchronizing data across many nodes. And you can configure your node to only synchronize the data you care about. So it's really interesting to see this community, like different projects adopting this. And you could imagine like people running nodes that only synchronize Akasha data or only Zuzalu or someone that aggregate information. Both of them nodes that like all that data. And they're really, really cool to see some use cases here. Updates of how much into them, but we spent a lot of effort recently to rewrite our core protocol in Rust. We call it new. One, and it'll just like give people building just way more flexible ways of querying data from the system. And it also new like the data.
Really fast because I don't know if you guys smell the food, but I do, and I'm still hungry. There's like data, like I'm just gonna get into it. Okay, anyway, so like I guess the original problem that I think Zu.Coffee had in the beginning, I don't know if this is a problem, but okay, it is a problem. But Zu.Coffee's data was stored in like a centralized database, right? And we're moving towards a world where we want this information to be decentralized. And so what does it look like to build a system where not only is I guess Zu.Coffee decentralized, but also private? And we're speaking specifically to event ticketing in this case. So Scroll kind of stepped in, worked with the Zuzalu team to figure out, you know, what does a proof of concept look like here? Right. So essentially, oh, I have this. Okay, cool. So I mean, basically, our objectives were right. Like, let's store information on chain. That's what we are. We have a public ledger to do all of this for. We want to do privacy preserving aspects of this. So specifically, Scroll came in and we're like, okay. I mean, it's transparently we're a ZK rollup. We're for scalability, but we have the expertise on team to figure out what does it look like to use ZK circuits to actually do proving of event, like I guess ticket ownership. Client side, right? And the last piece is this is all open source. Like when I get into like how it works, it's actually very simple. So it's portable across like Scroll, and then if you want to deploy it anywhere else, feel free. I would love it. But yeah, I think moving forward, basically what this looked like for us was basically, from an event ticketing perspective, very simple, straightforward, right? NFT ticketing is stored on Scroll. The part that becomes interesting is like, what does it look like to actually verify tickets and prove ownership anonymously, right? So this is where kind of the ZK proving came through. What it looks like is essentially what we wanted was proof generation of ownership of the NFT happens on your phone. On the other side, from the event organizer side, they can actually also verify the proof. So you generate a QR code, that's your proof, and then the scanning is the verification. This is actually very hard. I don't know if any of you guys are in the ZK space, but client-side proving isn't easy. So the first solution we did was basically we used Sindri, if you guys are familiar with it. It allows you to basically use but the problem with Sindri, right, it was faster, but it is still centralized in a way in the sense that we're running the proofs on external servers, right? So the next step was actually we did do a naive implementation of client-side proving. I think it still takes a little under 2 minutes, which is, I don't want to wait 2 minutes, right? But this is, I think this is where we got. I think moving forward, next steps are, it's open source, right? If any of you guys are ZK, I guess, circuit writers and have the capability to improve this further, would love kind of advice. Yeah, I'm all over the place because I want to eat food, so I rushed through everything I planned talking. Yes, okay, so that's everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Emily. I think there are a few people in the crowd that are interested in working on this project, so we move over the food.
Okay,
chat about that. And then also, Corey couldn't make it, so tune in to the next town hall and we'll talk about logo status.
And careful with the food poison here.
Yeah, don't know how to warn it next.
Hello, everyone. Beautiful slide, thank you. So, my name is Dayan. I believe there is too much digital totalitarism, and I believe that decentralized technology and cryptography has a huge potential to change our world regarding a lot of things. So you have like governments, you have big techs that are doing things that makes humanity less fair. And I'm really passionate and invested in decentralized society from a few years. So I worked 2 years in MetaMask for building a decentralized app store. So MetaMask has developed snaps, so community-built features, and I work on a web of trust-based system with some regulation system on top of it. So at the end, so we worked with Ceramic Network for the data layer, and at the end we came up with a beautiful experimentation, but going into production because Snaps was not mature enough. But we came up with a guide, a chain agnostic improvement proposal for web of trust primitives and partitionless evaluation of anything, any resources. So coming from here, I had discussions with Joe, and he told me about this will to decentralize, like a progressive radical decentralization of consensus. So MetaMask snaps for making MetaMask a common good, like built by the community with these features. Linear decentralizing sequencer and so on, and Infura with the decentralized infrastructure networking. So that's not just it. We want also to decentralize consensus operations. So we want to have like all different organizations, the governance, the employees, the finance being on-chain. So it's big. We are like a big company. We are a big thing, but we want it's far from the initial ethos where we wanted to provide common good for the community, for Ethereum, and we want to go back into this direction, and we want to catalyze a kind of network nation. So I changed the word network from network nation. I was in Edge City Lana, and I was part of attending the network nation of group that has a different perspective regarding this kind of communities and coordination. And network nation, I won't go into the detail, but it might be more relevant compared to what we are doing forward. But so consensus is being decentralized. We want to have this kind of network nation where consensus will be a netizen and citizen and other users, community and entities. This kind of ecosystem will bring some infrastructure, some support actions in order to help any kind of entities like consensus, but also communities like open cities, or any kind of users with some basic infrastructure. But we don't want to build everything from scratch. We don't want to control everything. The idea is to provide infrastructure to enable organic growth. And that's why I am here actually. I want to immerse myself and highlight the value of all these movements, and I want to understand the culture. I want to see what is the process, what is built right now, in order to see how we can, just collaborate, bring some resources in order to build this landscape, and having this objective, but also bring values for local city, local communities, and I also think of Xiaowu, for example, that have like social needs, and also you have, for example, in Myanmar with the government, you have some initiatives that fights against kind of totalitarianism. So the idea is to help with some basic infrastructure and bringing interoperability standard with chain agnostic improvement proposal, for example, in order to create like an ecosystem that is user-friendly, frictionless, and cypherpunk. Yeah. And last thing, in Edge history, I started working group for developing an open framework that shows the different capabilities that need that network nation. So with sovereign identity, about governance, about social welfare, about resource management, and so on. So, and the idea is to map with this capability landscape the different tools that exist. So the tools from Zuzalu software, the tools that exist in different communities and so on. So I'm happy to be here and to be part of this. Thank you.
When you're done, Kyle couldn't make it, so he asked me to quickly present on this. I have to admit it's quite technical, and so I don't think I can speak too much about it. But essentially, he wrote out in this memorandum of understanding, because he was working at MegaZoo on some features related to Zu.Coffee. If you read his descriptions and contact Kyle, I think that would be the best. But what he was working on are a few different layers or 3 different features that we would like to see in Zu.Coffee, including the Harbinger advertisements, JSON state UX NFT, which, as I understand it, potentially could be used for a form or any type. It's an NFT that also holds JSON data. And so that could be used for a web form potentially. That was how it began. Was we were looking for a Web3 application form for events, and that was the presentation that he gave. And then inverted precedent. I don't. My best attempt at explaining it is, I know it's from legal engineering. Or there's some idea. If does anyone know? I get out of this? No. Hope you're not recording this to send to him. My understanding is, instead of like very top-down decision making, it's inverted, so it's coming from the bottoms up. But it's a shame he couldn't make it. Definitely reach out to him for more information. Next up, Xenophone.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. You're gonna need this.
Good morning. Some people. Who here has heard of Zoo Forever before? Who here has stayed in a Zoo Forever house before? There we go. At least 2 people. So, good news, Zoo Forever is dead. Zu Casa is being introduced today. Mi Casa, Zu Casa, as I like to call it. What we are doing is housing for Web3 in a simple way that works for everyone and makes money for everyone. We know why we're here. Remote work is becoming bigger and bigger. Nomads are becoming the majority of society, or they're going to in the future. And for all of these new communities that are emerging, one thing remains the same. Housing sucks. It is expensive. You can't do it as a community because you're not a corporation, and many other problems. Every intermediary takes a piece. All of that money that you have is being wasted. And the reason it's being wasted is because most of us plan last minute. We can't really find accommodations close to the venue that's cheap or affordable for everyone. Teams and communities want to stay together, but that's quite hard. And the problem is even more prevalent when you try to go there for a month or 2 in a pop-up city. In my estimation, for the top 15 conferences in Web3 this year, $500 million was lost in additional costs. That's a lot of fucking money. So we are trying to solve this. And how do we do this? We book 6 months ahead of time at a 50% discount. We tokenize these rooms as NFTs, 1-to-1, 1 room, 1 NFT. We add a margin on top, 30% as the minimum. We might actually go higher than that. We sell these to our community, and we allow them to have a secondary market using these digital assets as NFTs. This allows many of them to speculate on the price of their housing moving forward. Once they confirm the registration by staking their NFTs, we match them. And in the future, because we have a pretty good model of making money, we want to liberalize the ability for you to put your money in and make 10% every 6 months. That's 20% per year, only on accommodation reservations. We've done this before. We had our first house in Lisbon for ARC, that was in September. We had our second and third house in Thailand, in the archipelago, and during Devcon. We made money in all of these, besides Lisbon. It was too early. And our next step is to be in every Web3 event. And what does this mean? This means pop-up cities and Web3 conferences. Most of our money is going to be made here. Why? Because there's thousands of people coming. So this is a much bigger problem. But we really believe that pop-up cities are very important for what we believe to be the future of society. So that's where we're going to be in the future. We're going to be primarily in these major conferences. We're going to attack Solana as well. We're going to be in a number of pop-up cities trying to work with the organizers. So if you care about this and you want to work with us, come and discuss. And we believe that after that, we can raise quite quickly to a much bigger market, because communities are not just Web3 communities. Sporting events, music festivals, other tech conferences and other business conferences, all of them have communities and clans who want to stay with each other. Think of the World Cup, the Greek house, or the American house, the German house. All of these houses could be made through Zu Casa. And we are raising money. So if you want to help us with that, reach out to me afterwards. I'm going to skip this slide for now, as well as this one, which is discuss tokenomics. This is the team. This is myself. Join us in our community and contact me if you want to learn more. Thank you very much.
Just a handful of projects left. Thank you all for holding up.
Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, founder of MyTree, and for those of you that don't know us, we're building infrastructure to help decentralize social media. It's really all about interoperability and shared network effects. That's the context. This is a narrow slice of a reputation primitive that we're building with community graphs. That's what I'm here to give an update on it today. It's really about putting a sharper edge on a dull hatchet of vouching as an insufficiently precise tool to invite people to do things. You know, we need to have accountability, but the way that you have to do that requires us to, vouching has to be public, like people that need to be accountable for who they bring into a group, and it leads to all kinds of downstream negative consequences because of the social pressures that are involved. That's the issue that this is fundamentally solving for. So really what this all comes down to is like having a private attestation mechanism with some other qualities that we don't have time to get into today that balance these pressures in a way that it's really a combination of like quadratic vouching plus web of trust principles plus PageRank, a little bit of PageRank mixed in there too. So this is just, like I said, a narrow slice of one of many things that is complementary to some of the other projects that you heard about today. That's it. Thanks.
Alaska, pull the slides up. Pop up capital.
I'll make it fast. I know we're getting to the end. So yeah, pop-up capital is kind of like an exploration of like it's an ongoing topic within the Zuzalu community of just like funding mechanisms and how you actually make both the technology and the events more sustainable or make them more kind of like what we're looking for as a community. So previously to joining Zuzalu, I worked at on-chain kind of like funding lending market protocol that I designed. So this is kind of just the funding space in general that I was targeting before pop-up capital, which is there's like grants and VCs, which are the two main funding mechanisms within the crypto space. And they have their benefits, but also have their problems. And because those are really the only two options, it's pretty binary. It's like either you're getting free money from some ecosystem fund or whatever, or you're giving equity to VCs. And I was more like exploring what are like options like credits or even lotteries or other crowdfunding mechanisms to help communities basically fund projects that they want to build, or continue to expand projects that are already working and sustainable and even profitable, but they don't want to sell the VC in order to continue expansion. So pop-up capital, this is a bunch of tools within this community, but also focused specifically on building pop-ups. So a year and a half ago now, it's kind of crazy. With my previous product, not with Pop-Up Capital, we funded not quite a pop-up city, but it's a 10-day conference in Costa Rica called MetaCamp by the Meta Cartel community, which is staying next door, I think. And so this is kind of like, yeah, predecessor, you could say, to Pop-Up Capital. We found product market fit with our lending protocol with physical events, because the venture investors have a really big issue with having upfront capital. There's kind of like a chicken and egg problem with being able to secure a venue and then being able to actually go and sell to sponsors and tickets and things like that. So a lot of times the venture organizers are actually putting up upfront capital with their own credit cards and things like that in order to secure the venue before they can actually go do the sales. That obviously has a lot of risk for them personally, and also not necessarily the most efficient use of the time and things like that. So this is just one of the ways that pop-up capital can be helping with the events.
So yeah, I'm just trying to
Yeah.
maybe hold it a little bit further from your mouth.
Okay, sorry.
Or,
Yeah, and then also I'll just say MetaCamp was also part of the Zuzalu community, and they're one of the biggest recipients of matching funds in Q1. They weren't part of Q2. So this is an experiment that was before Zuzalu even happened, but then also this community has been part of Zuzalu, and we're continuing to work with them. So this is, I won't go into a full demo, but this is what our website looks like. Popup.capital is like literally the domain name. If you guys want to check it out, I'll be QR code later. But basically, we're looking to aggregate different funding mechanisms because there's different types of stakeholders within the ecosystem. So, for example, there's funders, and some funders might be willing to give away all of their money and just give out grants. And other funders might want to actually get their capital back, maybe even get some yield from that by earning interest or something like that. So basically, having different options for community members, whether that's residents or the event organizers or just people that are interested in funding the ecosystem and seeing it develop, giving them different options basically to finance things. And then this is ideally just like a kind of funding portal, and it's not trying to be like the directory of all the events. So that would be like Zu.City or Lemonade, and then this is more like the financial front end. Like you're interested in just supporting the ecosystem, not just providing capital. This would be the place across any of the different pop-ups, different funding mechanisms, etc. So you can check out the app just on the left, Popup.capital, or you can join the Telegram group, which I made today, which I might just reconvert to just general Zuzalu funding mechanisms group chat instead of Popup.capital. Thank you guys. Okay, great.
I think I might be between us and food, so I'm going to keep it very short. Thank you for the opportunity to present. Gitcoin, as many of you might know, is known for quadratic funding. We're currently pivoting to focus more generally on capital allocation, really taking lessons from 22 rounds and turning them into a more general mechanism. Capital allocation is anything, anytime you spend money, whether it's buying coffee or your flight to Bangkok. And we recently launched the On-Chain Capital Allocation Handbook, which is a collection of different mechanisms throughout history that have been used to allocate capital and different ways they work. Legacy capital allocation off-chain has a lot of problems, such as gatekeeping, not being very precise and not being very scalable. When we bring it on-chain, it gives us the opportunity to introduce some new primitives. We can make capital allocation mechanisms that are more democratic, that are more karmic long-term, and have precise capital allocation. Quadratic funding is one mechanism we're well known for. We also have the retro funding available that's been popularized by Optimism and Vitalik on the basis that it's easier to know what has been valuable than what will be valuable. Futarchy is an exciting mechanism. We've all seen Polymarket, and there's no reason you can't use Futarchy for any Zuzalu.city or any event that you might be organizing. And conviction voting is one where the longer you've held your conviction, the more say you have over the decision to be made. So what we've just recently launched is the Allo protocol. This is a set of smart contracts that makes it really easy for anyone to design a capital allocation mechanism. And this is an invitation to any builders who are interested in capital allocation to take this protocol, build on top of it. It's all fully forkable, modular, and designed to really just get you going fast. It's got 3 main components: the Allo kit for launching the web app, the Allo strategy for defining whether it's quadratic funding, retro funding, or new different mechanism that you might want to invent or take from the handbook that hasn't yet been implemented. And then the third piece of it is the Allo registry, which is a way to handle project metadata, roles, and permissions. So an allocation mechanism is basically a circuit that takes in tokens and data and outputs funding outcomes. And there's a fun space in the middle there for people to define. This is the on-chain capital allocation handbook. It's available completely online. So if you want to scan the QR code, you can totally find it there or at allobook.gitcoin.com. And then finally, if you are interested in building on top of Allo, we have a bunch of docs, docs.allo.gitcoin.co, and that QR code, and some funding opportunities for builders. So thank you.
All right. You wrote well.
Hi, James, everyone. It's been about 18 months since I met most of you, especially you. My name is Eric. I'm from Africa. My state is Ghana. 54 countries in Africa. One of them is where I come from. So last year I was in Zuzalu. I'm proud of Zuzalu. We built IRL, and basically we're connecting African talents to the global world. But in Zuzalu, I realized that there was a big mismatch. There was a big gap. And that gap was most of the privileges and opportunities in the West were not in the part where I come from in Africa. So I did a lot of observation. My first week in Zuzalu was all observing what is possible for us in Africa. So after Zuzalu, April, May, we zoomed back and we started implementing some of the key things that I saw in Zuzalu. For example, people meeting together over lunch, breakfast, and having conversations. That meaningful conversation turned out to be a project. Like, for example, Dino, Zupass, all these things have become something great today. And that's exactly what we went back to build. So the first day was, okay, let's just build a simple tool for IRL to start aggregating data in terms of where are the talents from, what are they doing. So the IRL was just more like a dev tool, like the folio. Today, IRL, we have over 1,500 builders. They've done over 80 projects on IRL, over 70 hackathon built. This is just the primary phase. Most of you are presenting stuff that is tertiary. Secondary, in Africa, we need to solve the primary layer. So we say we build a human layer on top of Ethereum. Now, what it means is that there's a lot of mistrust, and we need to distrust trust, and we need to create more access. I'm here because I'm part of the propagate. There are more qualified, more smart talents in that part where I come from, but you don't trust them, or you don't know them. And there's nothing wrong. So what I say is that, folks, there are more opportunities in Africa. The only way you can actually begin to be comfortable is to visit Africa. The fact is, next 10 years or less, 3 out of 5 will be someone like me. We are the youngest continent. So everything that we have seen here, most of it will be applicable in Africa. Most of this tech that we are building is tertiary. It's not like it's a need, it's a nice to have. But could blockchain go beyond a nice to have to a much more need? And I think there's a more useful use cases of all this technology in the part like Latin America, part of Southeast Asia, and where I come from. So folks, if you're all interested, we love Ethereum, we love blockchain, love the technology incentive, but the technology is so much of a need. Let's try to place it where this thing is much, much needed. And I believe we will be happy, be excited, we'll be fulfilled beyond selling our token, partying around. It's good to party, right? But let's
focus on areas that these things are needed. So in the last few days, we have done more Accra with a new team. We had over 100 builders across 4 countries. This is the first time ever a pop-up event happening in Africa. For young people, that's more Accra, and the experience. If you go to type more Accra, you will see more than 10,000 feet because of this experience. Next year, by the grace of God, we are organizing Zu.Coffee, and we want to see all of you visit us. Let's stay, let's eat, let's do Afro dance, and let's do all the things together. Thank you so much.
So, hello everyone. We are Alberto and Vlad from Switzerland, and today we're going to present a good project that we actually got out of our hackathon. So we did an offsite for 2 weeks, and we kind of built this idea in around 48 hours. And as a wise man that presented before us said, housing sucks. So I guess we tried to address a part of one of the biggest pain points regarding to housing. That is basically how to handle like the housing tax rates, we call it like this. So basically the problem of like you have so many different types of pop-up cities, of pop-up villages, and you want to like find a way to, there is not a like one fits all solution. But the idea is find a framework that allows basically to fix the housing thing, that is basically avoid going from an open booking system, which has many issues because you basically have an Excel sheet where you can have to position yourself in a room, and it's not very privacy compliant, and then maybe someone could mess up with your room with your thing, and some people will just never use that kind of system. Or like on the other side of the spectrum, we have an algorithmic booking solution, which is basically a black box, which can be very easy to manipulate. But at the same time, it's also like a more transparent solution because that the algorithm doesn't need to know who you are, so it can process data in a more like friendly way. So if you look at the picture on the top, we have basically the idea of the Excel sheet. So you kind of have to position yourself. And it's a bit of a mess because you don't really know what to do and like who to stay with. And then some people would just not want to use that. And on the other side, you have basically just a black box to which you tell like, hey, I want to be in a single room. I want some extra space, maybe some blankets because we're doing camping or what's not. And we kind of try to find something that works like a middle ground that solves these issues. So we propose the solution is combining room matching, which is basically an algorithmic solution, combined with an issue resolution system, which basically allows to centralize the pain point and empower organizers to like do this efficiently. So maybe, Vlad, do you want to add something?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of our progress, we're doing a nice slide. So we drew up the prototype in Switzerland in September. We just used like a code platform to sort of like mock it up. And our goal is to basically like run it at Switzerland next year as a proof of concept, validate the idea, make sure we get the UX right. And the idea in the long term is to integrate it with multiple stuff that you guys are building in terms of like ticketing, form building together like our preferences when we sign up for these things. And then, once he does the hard work of actually going to new places and booking these things, we have the rooming that we can plug into our recommendation engine, and yeah, we can all go to intelligent.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Last but not least.
Any friends? Hello. I'm curious actually, some people asked how many people know what Lotto PGF is? Raise your hands. Okay, maybe 50-50. Cool. All right, so who knows who Otto is? Okay. Yeah. Well, you'll get to know both now. Lotto PGF is a protocol to launch permissionless lotteries to fund public goods. And a quick question. What has Harvard, the Great Wall of China, and Caesar Augustus Rome in common? And the people who raise their hands are not allowed to answer.
What? And how do you find people that want?
I don't know. Anybody? Lotteries. Actually, they were all funded with lotteries. They were used to raise funds, to gather the community and raise funds for these basically public goods. And so there's an ancient and cross-cultural history
of lotteries funding public goods. And even today, lotteries worldwide made $400 billion in revenue every year. They say some of that goes to fund public goods, but yeah, there's no way to verify that. So the problem is that they can be manipulable, people can be tricking them, they can be unfair and inefficient in terms of there's probably some bureaucrats who decide what public goods are being funded instead of the people, all these things, right? And yeah, I mentioned Otto. This is his evil twin. We'll need to find a name. And that right there is Otto. Sad because his evil twin is making inefficient money with lotteries. But we can make it happy. We're building this permissionless lotto protocol with verifiable randomness secured by Ethereum, and permissionless because anyone can create their own lottery to fund a public good or cause they want. Verifiable and transparent because we use fair randomness and the odds can be proven and checked on chain. Non-custodial, we know these smart contracts get rid of financial intermediaries, and we can make it a lot more cost efficient than the traditional lottery system, and also more bureaucratic. We have like a bit of a video here. Let's see if we can play it. If not, then we can skip it. Let's see. I don't understand what this means. I hope. Let's see. I think it might need to log in with a different email. No, let's skip this. It was just like a demo of how it works because we've been running a few experiments already. And yeah, a bit of some updates. We've been integrated in Zuzalu.city, or it's almost like in the process of. So thank you so much, especially and the entire Zuzalu.city team for making this happen. It's super exciting for us, and also for hearing so many people like Casey and Lemonade and Social Layer integrating it as well. It's super exciting for us. So thank you so much for it. Just some more updates quickly. Our B1 contracts have been audited successfully. We've also recently heard of the on-chain capital allocation book. Lotto PGF is in the second version that was just launched during Devcon. So super excited to see that. We've also been Octan's accelerator and Epoch 5 for quadratic funding. We also did an experiment at the archipelago, Pop-Up City Archipelago, because initially we wanted to do something fun for the pop-up cities, but there was a big catastrophe there. There were a lot of flooding, so we wanted to help the local community using our protocol, and we raised around $2,000 for the flood relief using Lotto PGF. So that was like a very nice use case of the protocol. And yeah, as mentioned before, thanks for the upcoming integrations. And this is all basically a collaborative effort. I'm just here basically the messenger of a bunch of procs that are contributing to what is Lotto PGF. And we want to expand beyond lotteries. We want to unlock more capital formation mechanisms that fund public goods. And yeah, I think we all share the vision of making the internet self-sustainable and keep it cypherpunk. So yeah, this is just a few names of the people and teams that are contributing to this project. Many of them are here, so big applause to you all, and to all newcomers as well. And maybe we have a little bit of a call to action here. I love doing this when I'm doing a presentation. I do a tweet. This tweet is going to be about like some exciting stuff that we've been doing at Devcon. And if you can help us with like a comment or a like or a retweet, anything helps. Like the Twitter algorithm, for whatever reason, like bumps it up if you do it in the first 2-3 minutes. So I'm just posting it right now. I'm going to click post. If you, let's see if this works. Oh no, it's not working. Something went wrong. Oh, no.
While you're checking if you're tagged for your presentation, also retweet and like.
Okay, I'm gonna delete the videos. Maybe that's it. Let's try again. Fingers crossed. No. Okay, something's wrong. But if you want to contribute, maybe what we can do is we're gonna send you the tweet once we fix this, and if you can help us out, we would really appreciate it. You can either join the announcements channel. It's not spammy. It's just like an announcement channel where we push like info. But if you want to contribute and become one of the many frogs that are working on this project, please DM me a GM and we will send you a form where you can contribute to the project. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, and let's eat.
Thank you so much. And let me just double check. I'm not forgetting. Oh.
Yeah, I think it's
Oh, great. Sorry. Hold your hunger for just a little bit longer.
I make it very quick. Hey everyone, I did not expect to be presenting today, but thanks to QJ, when I told her I interview founders, she was very kind to tell me to make a slide and introduce myself. I think there's superior value in all of you builders who are traveling everywhere and building important technology, especially in the Web3 space. And I made an observation that most of you are focused on shipping and building. And I thought maybe I can interview everybody who is building a project, asking you about your obstacles. And maybe if you were to receive time, capital, or expertise, which one would you prioritize first, and why are you doing what you are doing? So let me show you my toolkit. I do it with my phone and microphone, and for now that's how it looks. Just a tweet, a video, and this is Duke Jones, who is the founder of Identity. We made an interview and it was very successful. I appreciated the feedback that he gave me. I thought I would do this more with everybody here. What I need help with is perhaps somebody here can tell me what other toolkits I can use, that I can build a common knowledge repository, that I can save all this information, make it public so that everybody can access and overview what projects are being built, what obstacles each founder is facing, and perhaps you guys can connect together and reach out. If there's a toolkit that already exists, I would love to explore this. And one more thing, it would be, feel free to reach out to me after this. Tell me about your questions that you would like to be asked. And even if somebody never asks you a question that's important for you or your project, what would it be? And yeah, that's it. Thank you all, and for this.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Just confirming that that's it. Yeah, okay. So unless there are any really burning questions that somebody wants to ask to anyone in the room, in front of everyone in the room, going once, going twice. Okay, then we can ask each other questions.